Well, hey there, everybody. We're so glad you're joining us for communion. And whether you're joining us for communion for a Good Friday service, or maybe with your life group, or maybe just with your family, we're excited that you're taking part in this. We believe here at Grace that this is such a vital part of being the church. And really, communion is this. It is saying that we have got it, but we need to be reminded of it. And we believe it is the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so as we jump into communion, it really is such a neat way, and maybe our terminology, to saturate in the gospel, to sit in the gospel, to really kind of preach the gospel to ourselves in a moment. And so as we jump into this, we believe that it is one very personal, individual, but it also is very communal. It's about the community doing this together. And we're just excited you jumped into that. This would be our challenge to you as you look, whether this evening or maybe during the day that you're joining us, whatever reason that you may be joining us, that you would maybe invite others into that you would look and invite others into this experience with you, whether it's someone that's a part of your family, maybe it's your family, your spouse, maybe it's part of your life group or part of the church family here at Grace Church, because we believe doing this with others is significant to being able to encourage each other in a moment like this. And as we jump into communion, I just want to take this brief moment to kind of walk you through this web page that we created for you to be able to access communion on Good Friday, but also in other times of the year where you might just want to practice communion with you and your family. So there's different things going on in the communion webpage here that make note of. But first I would say this: pick a specific time, pick a specific date that you're going to practice communion, and that you would just prepare for it throughout the week leading to that moment. That you would prepare your environments, that you would prepare your heart, that you would prepare with the needed supplies and resources. Just think it through and allow God to lead you in that. Make it something that is not just flippant, but something that is intentional that you run into. When you look at this webpage, you'll see that there's different resources. We've provided you videos that are going to walk through each of the elements of communion that we are going to invite you into practicing alongside of us. With those videos that walk through the bread and cup, washing the feet, the Lord's Supper, you'll see here in the webpage a communion guide. And what we would challenge you to do is download that, click on the button, print it maybe, and it in words just kind of articulates what happens in each section. And so it'd be a great resource for you as you walk through it, giving some background to specifically why we celebrate communion the way we do and what that looks like and why we continually go back to it. And so we'd ask you to download that. You'll also see that there's a Spotify and YouTube playlist that have worship songs selected that you can listen to throughout the communion experience. We would challenge you, especially while you practice the different elements, that you would listen to that as just a reminder of what God has done for us through songs. And then we also at the bottom have provided a list for you of restaurants here in our community that you can enjoy the Lord's Supper at, that you can go and practice with your family, go and practice with your life group or with your spouse, what it looks like for you to do the Lord's Supper and celebrate that and be reminded of that. Also with that, we would invite you into collecting the supplies as you get ready for your communion experience. Things that you will need on top of what we provide in this webpage are maybe some grape juice and crackers and maybe some little towelettes or maybe a water basin, some towels, things that you can just practice the elements with, that you can look the bread and cup, picking something that would represent those that you can lean into, also picking something that you can wash each other's feet in as you look to practice together. And like I said, we invite you to run into this time with Jesus, run into this time of saturating the gospel, being reminded of what Jesus has done for us some 2,000 years ago and continues to do in our life with intentionality. And we'd invite you to do it with others because we believe it is so profound and powerful to join in community in communion. And so we'd invite you into that. We're so excited that you are jumping into this. If you have any questions throughout this process, do not hesitate to reach out to us. But we hope that you enjoy communion and it encourages you as you practice it together.